It's finally here. The moment we've all been waiting for since April. Orange County is back playing meaningful matches at Championship Soccer Stadium this weekend. And they are sitting atop the Western Conference again after picking up 3 points on the road in Seaside against Monterey Bay. Hey, we're coming home to the place where we belong. Let's get this thing started. Welcome to the Show of Champions. This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast. How's it going, Orange County? Welcome to another episode of the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, the first and only show dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. I'm your host, Ray Samora. I'm here to take you through this journey as we discuss all things Orange County Soccer Club. And helping me out for this episode, we've got first and foremost, Brad. Brad, how excited are you that Orange County is returning home after the prolonged road schedule and they're atop the table in the West?
I just like that you said the word meaningful games because the anti-Malort Cup is officially gone, and I'm happy that it's no longer here. Super excited for the team and the fans.
We all know that USL Open Cup match, it was basically a friendly, and I would assume that our next person joining this show would agree with us on that, and that is the bearded one, Larry. How excited are you to finally be back at the Champ in a meaningful match?
God, yes, please give me some. I need tacos. I need taqueria Oi. I need the County Line Coalition down there behind the goal. And just need the fans and need to be Saturday night where I'm supposed to spend my life.
Now I'm just curious, do they still do those hummus bowls at the taco truck? Because I'm actually craving one of those. What's up?
What is a hummus bowl?
The Taqueria Oi hummus bowl. I'm sure our other co-host Matt has tried that one, right?
Absolutely not. Why would I try that at a taco truck?
I'm going to tell you this, and I meant to. I tried it the very first match that they brought them out, and I tried them, and they were really good. And I actually shared with some of the CLC that I was at the match for that first experience, and everyone. It was a surprise. I mean, you don't expect hummus with a bunch of Mexican toppings on top of it to be amazing, but it actually was really good. And, hey, hummus is just mashed up beans. If you get a bean bowl somewhere with a bunch of Mexican stuff on top, similar thing. It's surprisingly good. If you haven't tried it and they still have it, I recommend it a try. It's pretty darn good. But
ladies and gentlemen, this has been Hummus Talk with Ray.
Hey, hummus, Mexican taco bowl. I don't know talk.
Pretty sure
but we're getting back to the Championship Soccer Stadium. I didn't get to ask you, Matt. How excited are you to have a meaningful match back at home finally after all this time?
Very excited. Yeah, I'll be there Saturday. I'm stoked to be back there and singing and doing our thing and just the whole routine. It just becomes part of your Saturday. Every other Saturday you're out there. It's your 4:00 you're out there doing a little pregame, doing the match, all that stuff. It just becomes part of your routine. And when you don't have it for 6 weeks and also haven't sang in 8 weeks, 10 weeks, whatever it's been, it's going to be a little rusty. I'm going to lose my voice in the first 10 minutes, guaranteed.
I was going to say we should have an over-under, Brad. Since you're most recently from Vegas, maybe you can create the over-under of at what point will the CLC lose their voices for this match, because we haven't done it in a while. I think the last meaningful match for CLC where they were chanting and screaming and yelling was the one in Santa Ana, and that still was like Matt said, probably like 8 weeks ago, right, or something like that. But it's been
so long that during the World Cup game that we had for the U.S. in June felt like it had been a long time already, and now we're a month and a half after that. So
I know. Yeah, and the most awesome part about all of this, because I think if producer Andy, if we gave him prep time, he could have gone back and gotten some of our clips of how we were nervous heading into this prolonged road excursion for Orange County. I don't think a single one of us would have predicted Orange County is atop the West on August 1st. And lo and behold, that's where they are. It hasn't always been pretty. Orange County got a 2-1 victory this past weekend against Monterey Bay, and it probably should have been more like a 4-0 or 5-0 if Lion McKinnon finishes on the 2 really, really quality opportunities he had. And if we don't do the typical Orange County thing of making things nervous in the final 20 minutes of the match. Brad, let me ask you about the match in Monterey Bay. Overall, what were your thoughts on Orange County's performance this past weekend?
I think overall the team was very lucky not to go down a goal in the early to mid part of the first half. But beyond that, Orange County, whatever speech Danny Stone gave at the halftime locker room worked, because the team came out on fire the second half, was very composed, scored 2 goals, and, made us sweat that we might actually throw it away and allow 2 goals back. But closed out the game in very England-like fashion almost, and as a result, came away with 3 points against a team that they honestly should have come away with 3 points against.
Larry, based on what you saw from this match, what do you think the true final score tally should have been in this match? Is 2-1 a well representation of what happened in this match, or should it have been different?
2-1 was a good result. We'll take it. Absolutely. McKinnon should have had 1, definitely. 2, probably. Silla should have had 1, definitely. So, yeah, 4-1 is not an unreasonable number that this game could have been. It wasn't, and that's okay. That happens sometimes. At the end of the day, we had more than they did, and that's all I really care about. It can be 1-0, it can be 4-1, it could be 2-1 in an ugly manner. Hey, we'll take it at the end of the day.
Let me ask you, Matt, in the end, Rando made a couple good saves out of this match to keep Orange County in it early on. And then, late on, we concede a late goal due to maybe some not proper or not well-marked defense there. How disappointing is it is this a match where a clean sheet and not conceding that late goal against Monterey Bay, would that do more for the team's confidence and for the fans' confidence in this team if they would have done what they should have done against the worst team in the West?
Yeah, for sure. But I think something I've talked about a few times this season has been our ability to ride out the beginning of games. We did it again this game. I think it was 2 or 3 games ago that we had a similar situation where the team was, not even knocking on the door, banging on the door for the first 15, 20 minutes. And we were able to ride our luck a little bit, but also just hold out and then kind of grow into the game a little bit. And that's something good teams do. And that's something we did well in this game. When you say 4-0, I would very much disagree with that. They could have been 2 or 3-0 up in the first 15, 20 minutes, if not for 2 pretty bad misses and 1 great save. But after that, again, we rode our luck. We kept them out. And then, from that point on, I would say from about where we're at, 25 minutes in, it was all Orange County. We had the 2 1-on-1s, 3 1-on-1s, I think, that could have easily been 3-0. And then we come out and we score 2 in the second half. So we definitely could have easily had 5 or 6 in this game, but it is what it is. We managed the game that kind of was presented to us, and I think we did well with it.
And I like what you say they're managing the game, because I think even in this match, the broadcasters were talking about, that's Orange County's sort of bread and butter, is they just are managing these matches and striking and taking opportunity of the chances that are given to them throughout a match. And I know we've talked, this seems like something we've talked about quite a bit. I know there's people that would rather see a lot more action out of Orange County and less of the, wait for your opportunities and be very patient with it. But this is what we're seeing here. And this is, I think, a winning strategy, especially when you're going to be in the heat of playoff soccer. And if we end up having to go on the road for any of our matches, this is what you want to see. Now we just need to finish the opportunities. We've now seen the second time Liam McKinnon had an opportunity one-on-one with goalkeeper, and both of those opportunities were straight at the keeper. Brad, how disappointed were you with Liam's performance, and is there a player that stood out for you on the positive for Orange County?
Yeah, I'm disappointed in Liam, but more importantly, I think I'm disappointed in Scylla. He's been continuously great, but the decision making at the last second there on his one-on-one with the keeper Jackson really, let me down. I think he's a quality enough player to make that shot, and he kind of just sends it wide a little lazily. Orange County, Larry said it well, could have easily had 4 goals in this game. I think Monterey could have easily had 2. But Orange County was the better team in this game. And also just Rando, a couple of the saves he made really kept Orange County in this game. And he was also a huge difference maker in this game, particularly late down the stretch as well.
It's interesting, Brad, that you seemed like you were more disappointed with Scylla's shot selection on that than McKinnon, even though McKinnon's the striker. He's the one that, if anyone's going to make a goal one-on-one with the keeper, it should be him. And he had 2 opportunities. I sort of disagree with you. I thought Scylla was actually a standout player for Orange County. Yes, he missed that opportunity he had on goal, but he also did set up McKinnon once, if not twice, for the opportunities that McKinnon had in the match, and he was very dangerous with the ball at his feet. Larry, I'm going to go to you. Are you on Team Brad or Team Ray when it comes to the way Scylla played in this match?
I thought Usman was absolutely outstanding. I mean, that move that he made, I can't get over how great it was. He's going up the middle, just a little slight step to the left, back to the right, pass it to McKinnon. Liam should have finished. The only thing about Scylla that I was disappointed in was on his shot on goal, he had Yaniv right there. He could have dumped it off to Bazzini, and right there, we're up 3-1 easily. And I think that was the wrong choice in taking the shot. He took a poor shot, probably should not have taken that shot. But at the end of the day, he was still, I've said numerous times throughout this podcast over the last 2 years, Chris Hegart doing Chris Hegart things. Usman Scylla on Saturday night was doing Usman Scylla things. He was breaking ankles. He was making people work harder than they sure as hell wanted to. Sorry, I was just reading a comment there. So I don't know if I'm on Team Ray or Team Brad on this one. I'm just going to be on Matt's team.
You just be on Matt's team. Go for it, Matt. Your thoughts on all this, plus whatever you want to say.
Always Team Edward. But like something I've said multiple times when it comes to Scylla is I'm thankful sometimes that he misses those because that's why he plays for us. Because if it wasn't for that, he would be so far beyond our league. Some of the stuff he does on the ball, it's too good for us. So if he misses a chance or two, sometimes I'm like, that's fine. That means maybe he'll stay with us a little longer. He's incredible. The things he does on the ball is I said it before on this podcast. It's stuff that you go to games for. At least for me. Like I grew up with my footballing life loving Eden Hazard, and although Usman is no Eden, he is the closest thing we have to it in this league, as far as I'm concerned. So I will never slight that man for a miss. He should have at least put it on target, but he tried to go near post, a little cheeky, and just went a little wide. It happens. I think if I had to pick one, I would probably say a little more disappointed with McKinnon. But again, we managed the game well. I mean, if we put those chances away, then maybe it's a different game. Maybe we shut it down a little quicker, and who knows what happens. But also, if they put 2 of their open goal chances away, we have a very different game as well. So this level, it's going to happen. At least we responded well and came out in the second half firing.
Well, I want to know what our listeners think of that. I know we have some that are listening live, but there's a lot of listeners that listen to the recorded episodes of this. So here's what I'm going to say. If you're on Team Brad for this, go to one of our social media pages and give us a like. If you're on Team Ray for this, go to one of our social media pages and share a recent post that we had to show us what your thoughts are. We'll see if we get more likes and more shares over the next week or so as people are listening to this. I'm going to give everyone one last chance to share anything they want about this match before we move on to the return home. Brad, do you have any last comments about the match against Monterey Bay?
Yeah, I feel like you took my comment out of context a little bit, and I feel like I must stand up to the hierarchy here and say, Ray, I only said I was disappointed in the shot. I also recognized he's been on an absolute tear. But huge shout outs to man of the match for Orange County and team of the week player, Nico Benalcazar. I wouldn't be surprised if Nico Benalcazar finds his way probably to Matt's disdain, but up and out of here with a good paycheck coming to Orange County's way for the way he's been playing consistently week in, week out in like 5 different positions on the pitch. Consistently being one of, if not our best player out there week in, week out. And also Mr. Nicola Chiota with an absolute, goal line run to assist the goal that you guys just saw. Wonder kid, showing that the wave is still ongoing and looks to be of title proportions right now.
Oh yeah, the wave is awesome that we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of the wave this season, which is, pro and a con. That means you're probably seeing some injuries, but it's nice to see these younger players step up. Larry, your last thoughts on the Monterey Bay match before we move on. I'll give Matt one last chance after you as well.
How beautiful was that goal from Tommy? I mean, come on. First of all, we get the assist from the Monterey player. Thank you very much. But he just takes that right off his chest, picks it right out of the air, right foots it, blows it past the goalkeeper. That is not a defenseman scoring. That's not what a defenseman do. He scored that. I mean, hell, if Liam did that, we get 2 more goals on Saturday night if Liam finishes like that. So Liam and Tom, if you guys are listening, I love both of you. But that was just such a great finish, and I always happy when any of our players do something good. And Tom did something absolutely fantastic there. That was a beautiful goal, one of the best goals we've seen this season. So yeah, hey, you know what? Go us.
Matt, any last thoughts?
I'd love to take a moment, and I'm guessing it's going to happen in about 10 seconds here on this broadcast, but the ball from the Monterey Bay player for their goal was an absolute peach. Just soccer at its finest right there. That was perfect. So I will appreciate that. And then what we'll see after this is Rando making an incredible save as well. So shout out to him, a game-saving save that you need someone who can do that at this level. Especially if you're going to play like we do and kind of rely on a little bit less goal scoring. You need a keeper to show up in a big moment like that and keep the lead and take 3 points.
I just hope other teams don't watch that and say, hey, this is how you can score against Orange County, is just get some speed up the middle and just send that through ball, and hopefully the defense is out of position. Unfortunately, this season we don't have Albie's
through ball.
We don't have Albie Skendy's speed this season, so we don't have someone that could catch up to that. Again, Orange County returns home. First meaningful match at Championship Soccer Stadium for the team since April. They're going to return home for a big match against El Paso Locomotive. This is something where, okay, Orange County has been on the road so much. Is this going to feel like a road match to Orange County? Because they haven't been on this pitch in a long, 3 months now. Well, they did play the USL Cup match, but it was a heavily rotated side. Larry's giving me this flip of the hand, shut up, Ray, on that. That's not a smart comment, but I'm going to tell you this is a prolonged road trip like that, and then returning home on a pitch you haven't played on for quite a while. You'll have the fan energy, but it's going to feel different. They're not used to it. It's not something they've done recently a lot. Larry, I'll give you first comments on that. And then what are your thoughts of this match?
104 days is the last time we played a meaningful game, a USL Championship League game in our stadium. So do I think it's going to feel like an away game? Hell no. Do I think the boys are going to think that it feels like an away game? No, of course they're not. They are going to be fired up to be coming out top of the table, just 10, 12 games to go in the season, and knowing that they control their own destiny and controlling their own destiny at home for the bulk of the remainder of the season. I think Saturday night's going to be electric. I hope to God we have a huge crowd and it's loud. We're going to need to ask Dan when he gets on what they've got planned to bring even more people in, whether they're, casuals, newbies, first timers. Let's get 7,000 people in that joint. Let's blow the roof off of it.
And we got our listener, is it Gabuchin, saying that the home matches will help us build the gap. Yes, I'm hoping for that. That's really what I want to see. Again, it's unfamiliar pitch. I'm not saying the players aren't going to be full of energy. The fans aren't going to be full of energy. I'm going to ask you this, Brad. Is there a chance the players are overly hyped for this return home and use up too much energy early on, and we have some sort of collapse late in this for the first return match home?
Honestly, I think the opposite's going to be true. I think with our depth issues that we've had, the fan support's going to help them, get to that finish line while an opposing stadium. Let's be honest, road games to Monterey, to Colorado, or to the East Coast teams that we did in the last couple of weeks, probably hindered a lot of the results. But we've had a lot of time over the last couple of weeks to rest. I think we've had like 2 bye weeks in the last 4 games. The team should be rested. The team's gotten plenty of practice on the field. Sure, it'll be a home game with fans in the seats, but let's not act like they haven't been practicing on this field, that they haven't been out on it at a championship soccer stadium over the last couple of weeks practicing. Also, I don't know where you're getting this the team's not going to perform well here. So listeners, if you agree with Ray the second time around, go ahead and comment. Go ahead and share the videos to some of your friends. But if you agree to common sense, Larry, Brad, and Matt, go ahead and like this video as well.
And we're not gonna be able to tell the score of who liked me because I was the shares before. Oh no, I'm still the share. So I'll get way more shares than all of you anyways. Matt. Okay. So apparently Brad, Larry think this is going to be a walk in the clouds, an easy thing for Orange County in this match. They're not worried about anything. They're not worried about the rust of playing at home, a lot of energy early on, thus they might be tired later. I'll ask you this. Is there a chance the fans are out of shape and exhausted by the 70th minute and aren't able to cheer the team on for the final 20 minutes if it's a close match?
Well, yeah, but that's just me, and that's just every game either way. So, that's nothing new. For me on the whole away thing, I've said it last week. I think the only thing I worry about is more stylistically. How do we do when we're at home? We've been doing pretty well with kind of the style we've been playing. A little more defensive, a little more, countering and stuff like that. Is that going to be conducive to being at home and kind of the fan expectation of having the ball and trying to dominate a game? I think we'll be okay. We do have a better record at home, so that lends itself to that. But maybe the adjustment of having to kind of be the dominant team may be tough. So that's where I worry a little more or have question marks. But I think, especially against El Paso, if we're going to kind of get more into this specific game, I think this is a game we should win. We're at home. We're a better team. Simple as.
What do you need to see from Orange County to what do they need to do in your eyes to get the win? It sounds like they can't play the road style game that they've been playing the last few months. So what do you need to see out of them?
I think it's similar as far as what we've been doing, in a sense of we just need to lock it down. I think defending a lead, defending in general is going to be easier at home. So just keep it tight. We should be able to, hopefully will the team to score a few more goals than they have been on the road. So easy 2-0 wins, give or take a goal, I think is what we should be looking for when we're at home. And, just kind of take these next 8 games where we have, 2 away games or 9 games. We should be winning 75% of those, especially given where we are on the table and kind of the expectation now.
Brad, who do you want to see step up in this match and be the player of the match or the star of the match for Orange County?
I would love to see Zubak step back up a little bit. I know he's been relegated to a little bit of a bench role over the last couple of weeks, but the team needs him every week. At this point, there's not as much depth as you would like in the roster right now. And, come in, give the best 20 minutes you can, get a goal. Hopefully it's the winning goal. Can't complain about that.
And Larry, we know from a couple weeks back, you're super worried about injury stuff with this team. How is this home stretch, or this at least home heavy final part of the season, going to benefit Orange County when it comes to the injury front, either limiting injuries or having the ability for players to recover because, we're at home, or not aggravate injuries potentially while we're at home?
Well, the good news on the injury front is that we're starting to get players back. Ryan Dogman's back. Mo War was back in the 18. I do not know that Ethan Zubak has been back for, I think, the last 2 or 3 games, and he's gotten on the pitch. So, he's getting his Ethan is getting his minutes, and he's getting up to, full game form. I think if we can get Palomino back, I think if we can get Partita back, I think that we don't have to worry so much about dipping. I don't want to say lesser talent because, God, some of these kids are so damn good. But if I'm gonna have a choice between a 30-year-old Kevin Partita and a 17-year-old out there, I'm going to take the 30-year-old experience, even if he's got a 30-year-old soccer player's body. As for injuries, I mean, they're going to happen. Somebody else is going to probably get injured. It's just the nature of this game. And that's who Orange County Soccer Club is. We get injuries and we motor through. And hopefully we continue to do that for this last couple of months of the season. Let me rephrase that. Motoring through, not getting injured. Let's not continue to do that. There are players that we cannot afford to lose. And I think we all know who those are. The Chris Hagarts, the Tom Brewitt's, Garrison Tubbs, Nico. We cannot have these guys go down for an extended period of time going here into the last part of the season. So that's the hope. I think we're gonna have a good game Saturday night, though. I'm excited for it.
What I'm loving with this team, we've had injuries. We have this all the time. This happens every season, but you get to see if the youngsters have the capability of stepping up. Maybe last year or the year before, we didn't have as many that could step up, but I feel like we have a good bunch of that wave that are stepping up. And providing quality minutes, like to the point where you have Orange County fans debating. Like when you look at Kevin Partita's injury, you have some fans that are like, well, Efren Solis has been so awesome in the position while Kevin Partita has not been able to play. Is it going to be something when Partita comes back? Is he going to be put more into that, slow return, not have to force him back in, maybe be like what we're seeing with Zubak, right? Is like, you're coming in for the final, 30 minutes of a match with fresh legs, and we're not asking you to play a full match, which is awesome to see that as an option for Coach Danny Stone. And I'm so proud to see that so many of our young stars, our young players are stepping up and proving that they belong at this level and that they can compete at this level. And I just want to continue seeing that. And I'm thinking we will see that against El Paso this weekend. And that's a really exciting thing to see what these players will be able to continue doing now in front of the home fans. They've gone through the struggles of having to do this on the road in hostile environments or with getting limited sleep because you're in a hotel that you're not used to, and you're still out there able to perform really well when the team needs you. So the beauty of all this with the injuries is the club is now building depth in their roster to prepare for a playoff run. Let's get our quick predictions on this match and we'll move on. I'm going to go to you first, Brad. What's your score prediction for this match?
I'd like to see a 3-1 game for Orange County. I think that El Paso's looked a little suspect at times in the last couple weeks, and I think Orange County's just the better team at home.
Awesome. Larry, your prediction for this match?
I think we're going to get a clean sheet this weekend. I think Rando's going to step up even further than he has. He's going to get clean sheet number 6 on the season. So I'm going to go with 2-0 Orange County.
Yeah, it looks like Gabuchin agrees with you. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm just guessing on the name there.
He knows what's up.
Yeah, I'm going to go with what I said earlier. I think just a professional 2-0. Keep it clean. Couple goals. See it out. Easy game.
For this match, I'm going to see some finishes that we didn't see against Monterey Bay. So I'm going 3-0 for Orange County. We're going to get the clean sheet. We're also going to score 3 goals in this match. That's what I'm predicting. So jot that down. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. Let's move on. And again, big, exciting home return for the team at Championship Soccer Stadium this weekend. And I know the club is excited for this. I'm sure they're going to be pretty much throwing a party at Championship Soccer Stadium to celebrate this return after such a prolonged time period away. We're bringing on the president of business operations, Mr. Dan Racine. American Dan is, I guess, the official term now. Dan, correct?
Yes. Somewhere between the US-Paraguay game and the US-Australia game, I became an American citizen. So that was exciting.
Well, definitely exciting to hear. We were wondering, what do we call you now? Because some people like to call you British Dan. Is it American Dan? Is it British American Dan? What would your preferred title be on all that?
So I think base it on my accent. So when you start hearing my accent change, then maybe you can call me American Dan. But for now, I think calling me an American Dan and me sounding like I've just got off the boat from Southampton probably doesn't really make sense.
Let me ask you this. It's been a long time for you and your staff to prepare for fans at Championship Soccer Stadium. We did talk about it briefly. There was the USL Cup match, but that was, in my terms, a glorified friendly, because there was no result from that match that mattered one way or another for both teams. So how exciting is it for you and your staff that you now have a meaningful match to welcome the fans back? And what are you all planning for these fans on Saturday?
Yeah, look, I mean, we will never have another season where we will have a gap this long. I think the last home game we had at the Champ was Star Wars night, I think May 24th. So I think we've had off seasons that have been longer. So it's incredible, but obviously that's the unique year that we are in. But look, it's going to be great to go back. Actually, if one of you gets there early, can you send me a pin so I can work out how to get to the stadium? That would be appreciated. Look, I think it's I was telling somebody this yesterday. I think we're going like full minor league baseball here. So we've got 4 Saturdays in a row, which we've never had. Yeah, obviously in baseball that's not a lot, but for a professional soccer team to have 4 Saturdays in a row is, I think, unheard of, unless you have a nice home playoff run. So we've not really had this before. Obviously, it's been an incredibly long lead-in time. As you say, there was the USL Cup game. That wasn't quite the same. Partly, you look at the squad that we put out, but also, a lot of people were still away and the World Cup was still on, and it was the same night as I think the Argentina game. This is the World Cup is over, and now we are back at the Champ, and the only show in town is the USL and it's Orange County Soccer Club. And we've got, 4 games, to an extent, 4 different audiences. Obviously, you gentlemen will be at every game, I expect. I think, the core fans will come to every game, but obviously this is America, so the thing can't just be we're playing football at home. So we've got, Margaritaville night with a Hawaiian shirt giveaway, and then we've got Christmas in July, we're actually doing in August, where we're giving away a slightly ridiculous bucket hat, and Nani will be dressed as Santa. Then AAPI night, which was a real success last year, although we got in trouble with the city because, if you remember, at half-time there was a person doing all the fire throwing, and I think we nearly set fire to the field. So we'll be slightly more careful about the performances for that. And then we've got the old toucher truck and a gnarly bobblehead, which I've been wanting to produce for about 3 years. So it will be great. We'll be back. I mean, normally I'd say, we're great at home, but I don't really remember if we're great at home or not. We've definitely been great on the road, but we've always had a good home record. I think, last year in a mixed year, I think we had the best home record in the West. So we're definitely excited to be back. I know the boys are, they've definitely earned a few air miles and a few hotel points this summer. We had a very rare, I think it was a Saturday, Wednesday on the East Coast. So I think they spent, 4 nights in a hotel between games, which obviously we don't normally have. So they will be, the technical team were dreading this period at the beginning of the year. It's obviously gone much better than expected. And I think the boys are excited to come home and play in front of their fans. I mean, the last game that all the starters were in was that crazy night in Santa Ana. So I think everyone's excited to be back. We're expecting a big crowd. I think single game sales are as high as they've ever been in the week leading up to a game, including, all sorts of home openers. So I think we'll have a decent crowd on Saturday, and I can't wait to get back and see everyone for a real game.
I'm so curious when these gnarly bobbleheads come out, how well they will stay upright, or if they're going to tilt with how heavy his head looks in person. Larry, I'll hand off the next question to you.
Dan, it is always a pleasure to have you here, and you will always, I don't care if it's 30 years from now, you will always be English Dan. That's just how it's going to be, and that's said with absolute love. I was going to ask what you have on tap for, the fans coming in, but you've already answered that question. So I'm actually going to ask you a purely soccer-related question. The announcers for Monterey Bay mentioned it a few times during the game, and I don't know if you watched the feed or not, or if you were up there and maybe didn't hear the feed, but they talked about that this team is a competitor for the cup this year. Do you think this team can bring home a championship? Do you think these boys, this group with Danny at the head, can put a second star above our crust?
It's a good question. And a difficult one to answer. So I will say this. Every season in pre-season, when I sit down with my front office, I set the expectations for the year on what we're trying to achieve. And then the technical team set their expectations and their aims for the year. And they always want to win a championship. Obviously, every team, I think, or at least most teams, have a version of that. A lot of teams are unsuccessful, even if they end up have the best team. Speak to Louisville about what all that's like. So I'm not going to get into predictions and jinxing and all that sort of stuff, but we have dug out some incredible results in a very difficult period. We've thrown in teenagers to replace more senior players, and they've more than coped. We've had a lot of injuries. I think at one point on this road trip, our injury list was nearly a starting 11 again. But we're top of the table after, I think we've won more away games this year than we probably have in the last 3 years. One of you's probably got better stats on that than me, but that's what it feels like. So look, Danny's a fantastic coach who's won a championship. We've got a great team. They're very resilient. I think, one of the club slogans at the beginning was ruthless and relentless. And, these boys don't give up and they work incredibly hard. And some of those road trips are not straightforward. Turf fields, long trips, some extreme heat we've put up with at various points as well this summer. So, are they a very good squad? Yes. Is coach doing a great job? I mean, didn't he just win mid-season, a slightly weird award, but still mid-season coach of the year? So look, I don't know what's going to happen this year. All I know is if people come onto the Championship Soccer Stadium and watch these boys, they'll definitely give everything they've got. And let's see what the second half of the year brings.
That's a very good, right down middle of the road answer, Dan. I'm very pleased with that. Thank you. I'm going to give it over to Brad. Brad's got a couple for you.
Yeah. So Dan, question for you first is, you alluded to the long absence between games, but we didn't really go through your methodology about what to do with the front office staff to kind of prepare and plan for such a long, absence of time. So what does that look like with the front office staff?
It's a good question. I mean, I don't want to get too sort of boring and inside baseball, but what I did say to the team, I think I said it on after we may or may not after the game on whenever it was in May 28th, was it, that we played in Santa Ana. We may have stayed after the game and maybe got some of the leftover beers from that beer fest and stood around as a team, having just had the largest crowd in club history, 2,000 more fans in that stadium than the old capacity of the Champ, and said, A, well done. B, let's all go to Vegas for our away game as a thank you, which they all gratefully did. We had a lot of fun. And I think we won as well. And C, this is basically an off season. the length of time between now and the next game is almost as long as an off season. So let's treat it like an off season. So that doesn't mean we sit around and twiddle our thumbs and take Fridays off and then wait for it to come around. It's we plan ahead because it gets busy when it gets busy. When we've got these games and they're one after another, we're running around doing the things that you need to do just before games, and you don't get a chance to breathe and be strategic. So we've used this off season to be strategic, to plan. The reason these 4 August games are so sort of minor league baseball give theme heavy. I don't know we do theme nights, but this August is particularly extreme. It is because we have to. I don't need to give you guys 4 different reasons to come to 4 games in a row, but I do for other people because that's the nature of a very busy, crowded Southern Californian sports market. So we've planned like an off season in terms of how we've prepared. We've done a lot of work to be prepared for these games, but also the games in September and October. That was a message to the team. So we've been off season busy, as it were, so that we're ready. And look, there's a lot of practical stuff. So for those who were there on July the 11th, we had to go through that weird fence that was left over from the US national team. The fence is gone. You'll be delighted to hear. A lot of the Orange County branding is now, or will now be back up in time for that game. We're sort of properly moved back in rather than, I think we had the stadium for less than 24 hours before that last game. We can be a bit more prepared to do things properly. And so we're excited to welcome everyone back and prepared to have a very busy, slightly odd series of games. I think we've got 9 games left of the remaining 13, and there are 4 in August on consecutive weekends. But we're excited to have everyone back. We're busy, and my team have been busy, and we're excited to see the fans and enjoy the remainder of the year, which is still more than half the year, but feels like the remainder of the year.
All right, one more quick question for you. World Cup finished up since the last time we talked to you. Are you satisfied with the results?
That is the most difficult question I've been asked in 15 podcast appearances. Am I happy with the results? So let's do this. Am I pleased that Argentina did not win? Yes. Am I pleased that England had 12% possession after the 55th minute of the game against Argentina, and that the coach who was hired to not be defensive when ahead and criticised the previous coach for it then did exactly the same thing, and England missed the best chance they've had in a generation or two to get to the final? Not over the moon with that. As an American citizen, after the second game of the World Cup, am I delighted with the US performance against Belgium? And would it have been different if circumstances outside the game had been different? I would rather they had. If I had, I would rather we had.
Dan, you have frozen up on us. Apparently, Brad is frozen up as well.
Oh, here we go.
There we go.
Okay. Where did we cover all of mine, or had we?
I believe we got most of it.
Yeah, I think we got most of what you were saying there. A little bit of a technology hiccup. Apologize to the listeners if there's a slight bit of silence there. We'll hand it off to Matt if you have a question, Matt.
Yeah, I think when you're top of the table, I know with the injury list we have, I'm curious what your thought process is when it comes to making changes to the squad as far as people coming in, or is it more just trying to kind of, I know we dip a lot into, the young guys, but talk me through kind of your thought process there. Is there a temptation to kind of bring people in to try to push on, or is it kind of we've got a decent lead at the top? Talk me kind of through what your thought process is there.
Sorry, we had a little bit of a technical hitch. I missed the first 2/3 of that question. All I got is what is your thoughts, and I don't know what I'm thinking about. Can you try that one again, please?
Yeah, just your thoughts in general.
So generally, as we're at the top of the table right now, or at top of the West, what are your what's your thought process on bringing players in with the injuries that are going on? I know we rely a lot on the young kids. Is there any temptation to dip into that, or what's the thought process there?
Excellent question. There are two English presidents, and that very much is one for the other one. What Pete is doing with the squad and his plans, I'm afraid that I am not privy to that stuff, so I can't answer that question in good faith. But whatever Pete decides, I think will be the right decision.
Fair enough. I'll turn it over to Larry.
Yeah, I actually have one more for you, because even though I said you will always be English Dan, you are also American Dan. So you did an American thing there about, 10, 12 days ago. You threw out the first pitch for the Riptides. Last year, it did not go well. Did we have some improvement this year?
Yeah, excellent question. It was on my bucket list to throw out a pitch at a baseball game. And why wouldn't it be? Even though I'd never thrown a baseball until the age of 47. I was given the honor of throwing out the first pitch in the first round of the playoffs for the Portland Pickled in the Wild West League in front of 3,500 people. I practiced for 2 days. I think I got the hang of it. I got out there, and as can often happen to people, I got scared. Well, not so much scared, but I said to myself, when I get there, take a deep breath, do it in your own time, and throw it when you're ready. And they announced my name and then said, let's play ball, or whatever they say. And I just sort of forgot everything and just chucked it. No technique, no muscle memory to fall back on, and it bounced. And I have the ball in a little mounted thing because it bounced. And so a constant reminder of the sadness of that. So when I was asked to throw out the first pitch at the OC Riptide, who play next door to us, unfortunately in front of about probably 60 people, but still, I got it there. It wasn't a strike, but I have the ball here and it's clean because it got there. The nice young man, I think his name was Brandon, who was the catcher. He did well to reach to the bottom left of the strike zone and pull it out and make me look good. I believe he's coming with his family to the game on the 8th of August as a thank you. So job done, box ticked, and now I think I can count myself as a real American. I'm hoping to be asked to do it somewhere else again and then actually get a strike. So we're not all blessed to be natural athletes like you guys, so I'm just doing my best.
Let me ask you a quick question, Dan, that's sort of related to a fan question on here. Is there going to be a new opportunity coming up anytime soon for new people interested in team ownership, or how's that plan going?
Good question. There is not at the moment any plan. There is I think there's an ongoing wait list, which I think has got over 100 people on it from the last round. So there is not currently a plan to let more people in, although we are aware of the interest in it, and I definitely wouldn't rule it out happening again in the future. But there's definitely no plan in the short term. I think we created enough work for ourselves between the stadium improvements at the beginning of the year and the World Cup. I think there was enough on our plate. We do have the smallest front office in the USL, which is not any way reflective of the product at the stadium, but it is the reality of my team. So we are unable to do that at the moment, but it's definitely it's on the cards for the future. I know it's something that people enjoy and we enjoy doing. So, but not yet.
And then I have just two quick little questions for you. You mentioned the World Cup. We've talked about it a couple times. Let me just ask you your thoughts. Hydration breaks. Are you pro or negative on the hydration breaks? the mandatory hydration breaks that like we saw in the World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, ridiculous. Yeah, no, that's not how football works. It is not a game of 4 quarters. If you're going to have a hydration break for the right reasons. So I think I'm right in saying when we played Vegas in June and it was 110 degrees, hydration breaks were required for the safety of the players. I'm all for that. I think we may have done them during Ramadan as well. But obviously, they didn't even try very hard to pretend it wasn't just about commercials, because obviously they were doing them in air-conditioned stadiums. So I'm not a fan. I'm pleased that teams adjusted. Like when we played Mexico, when England played Mexico, they clearly had thought about like what their first quarter strategy is, get to the first quarter, have a break, do something different. So, it changed how the game is played in terms of tactics. But it's nonsense. I hope we never see it again apart from for safety reasons. That's not how football works. Nor 35-minute half times, if you're ask about that as well.
Sorry, Dan, I'm reporting you to Gianni Infantino right now. I'm writing him an email as we speak, so you'll be hearing from him.
One last random question, quick answer. Just give me a name. You don't have to give a justification, but we're going to play fantasy right here. You win the lottery. You have a few $1 billion or whatever you're going to win off the lottery. You have $150 billion. You're able to buy the team. Now you can buy any player you want in the world that can play for Orange County at our level. What player do you bring in? And you don't even have to say why. Who would you want to see in Orange County colors?
I think I would like a captain whose name was Tom Brewitt.
There we go. Dan, as always, want to thank you for taking some time to speak with us on this episode. We appreciate, we know you're hard at work prepping you and the team prepping for the homecoming of this team. It's been so long. We're all excited to see everyone, see you all, see the players, and see all of our friends at Championship Soccer Stadium this weekend against El Paso. Thank you, Dan. And we'll talk to you very, very soon.
Yeah, look, as always, thank you for having me on. Look, the World Cup was great. If you like football, it was great. If you didn't like football, you probably do now. But World Cups are every 4 years. Orange County is, as it seems to be, every week at home in August. But this is real community football, still played at a high level. And we, as a team, are very excited to get our fans back into our stadium and have a great second half of the season.
We're excited. Everyone, Dan Rustine, President of Business Operations for your Orange County Soccer Club. Great guest on our show always, and we look forward to speaking to him again very soon. We've talked about this numerous times in this episode, fellas, about the homecoming, the return to Championship Soccer Stadium, and how exciting that will be. Larry asked a very interesting question to Dan there, though, during the interview of how confident are we that Danny Stone can lead this team to the cup, lifting the cup, the USL Championship Cup, and adding a star to the crest. I'm going to go to you first, Matt, as the longest tenured Orange County Soccer Club fan. How confident you are that we can get a second star over the crest this season?
How confident am I, or can we do it? Because the question he asked is, can we do it?
Okay, can we do it? And then we do it? And then I want to hear how confident you are in the can we do it?
Obviously, we can do it. With what I've seen so far, I do get a little worried about things like, as much as I've said that we've ridden out games, and that's been great. We've had a couple games now where we have allowed teams to dominate us pretty hard. And, that Monterey game, again, could have been 3-0, 2-0 in the first 15 minutes. And who knows how that game goes. Can we chase a game? We haven't really had to do that much this season. So there's a little bit to remains to be seen, but I would give us an 8 out of 10 on as far as how confident am I that we are going to do it. 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10.
There we go.
As you can folks, be. It's a playoffs, anyone can beat anyone. So
80% chance of a championship per Matt. What about you, Brad?
Honestly, let's get to the playoffs first, and then we'll see We'll
boring.
See.
That's worse than Dan's answer. That's so boring.
No, I agree with Dan's answer though. Ask Louisville, the team that literally stomped the season, and then went out with a whimper in round 1 at home.
But I mean, if you make the playoffs, you have a chance. So right now, if you're not even willing to give numbers, you're scared we won't make the playoffs, Brad. That's how I'm going to take it. And you might not be meaning that.
I believe the team's going to make the playoffs. Barring a total late season collapse, they're going to make the playoffs with home games. I'm not going to say home advantage, but home games.
Larry, how confident? Well, can they do it, and how confident are you?
Overall talent-wise, by way of maybe having a superstar, this team does not have that. But this team is the true definition of a team. Doesn't matter who the best player is on that team. We had a Golden Boot winner, and we came in last damn place. We were awful. In 2021, we had a guy who had finished third in the Golden Boot race, and we won the cup. 2018, we had a bunch of guys who were putting a ton of balls in the back of the net, and we did not win anything. If there was ever a team overall that could win a cup and bring it back to Orange County, it is the 2026 version of Orange County Soccer Club. Danny Stone has taken the players that he's been given, and he is getting the most out of them week in, week out. So do I think this team can do it? I absolutely do think that they can. I believe that a 70 to 80% is a good number to say right now as we head into August. And yeah, the West being tight there is a big but the West is always like that. So we can't, I don't know how much stock we can put into that. Will we? God, I hope so. I would love that so much. Wouldn't it be great to have 7,000 people at the very last game of the season at the champ? That would kind of make me pretty happy. So yeah, this team can do it. I believe they can.
All right. Brad, I'm disappointing you for not even wanting to give like any kind of number. Matt and Larry, you all are just crazy. We can do it, and we will do it. 100% chance we're going to win this championship this year.
And now it's been jinxed. Thank you, Ray.
Record that, Andy, producer Andy, put that on record. So that way, come October, November, whenever the final is, you can play this back and we can show how I knew what was going to happen. With that said, random thoughts, really quick random thoughts. Brad, go first.
Couldn't have been more wrong. I don't like this soundbite. Please. Oh my gosh, I literally was like looking around like is my YouTube tab that I'm, having the comments open, is it repeating? Like, I didn't say numbers. 100% couldn't have been more wrong. Anyways, I forgot Ray's question, and I think, in the interest of time, that my random thought is Ray needs to ask less questions out of me.
Matt, your random thought for today.
The reign of Xabi Alonso has started.
Larry, your random thought.
Assassin's Creed Resynced is one of the coolest things ever.
Wow. My random thought, I was up in Washington this past week. Icicle Brewing is a pretty cool brewery. You can't see my cup. I bought a cup, but it was a cool spot. I was there I tried to go there for the World Cup final, but I waited too long to try and find a seat, and it was packed. So I had to go elsewhere, but pretty cool brewery in Leavenworth, Washington, if you're ever in the area. With that said, let's wrap things up. I want to say thanks to everyone that participated in this episode, including my co-hosts, Larry, Matt, Pal in the Sky, Brad, and producer Andy. Also, our special guest tonight, Dan Rustine, the president of business operations for Orange County Soccer Club. All of our listeners that were following along in the chats and contributing to the show, thank you for doing so. Again, if you like what you heard or whatever, give us a like or a follow or share our posts on social media. Also, make sure you follow us on your favorite podcast platform, whether it's Spotify or anywhere else. I want to thank everyone. This is the end of the episode. It's the Orange and Black Soccer Cast. We are out.